Again, as you take the bolts out for the timing belt covers, you can do like I did. I took a Sharpie, put a number 1 on that, and a number 2 on this one, and the other one would be number 3. I'll write it on there now. And we know the other one is number 4. So that way you know what sequence they are when they come off. Now since we have one, let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a tap. I want to take a screwdriver. I guess I could. Don't want to fool with that gasket there too much. I could get up under there. Not a good spot there. Let's look up under the bottom for this weep hole. Up under the bottom. And that does it. If you go up on the bottom to that weep hole, work it from there. And that's that little weep hole I was talking about right here. We'll stick a little screwdriver in there. From the outside, stick a flat tip screwdriver in there like that and just work it gently to get it to come out. Alright, I'm going to go to the other side and do the other side the same way, and I'm going to number the other one number 4. Okay, now I've done the right side. Notice that when I was in here once before, when I changed the state a long time ago, I marked it right side and LS for left side. Here's my bolts for number 3 and number 4. And for those who have never seen the inner configurations of the timing belt, as you can see that this belt that goes to the right side should come off first, and then the other belt is on the inside. Notice the cogs here, so the other belt is on the inside, and that'll go to the left side. So when you get ready to take your belt off, you'll take the left side off first. Okay, but now let's wind up and take a look at the fact before I get ready to get into the belt, taking that off. What I'm looking for is the sign that says up, and you look right here, it says up here. So this up has got to be in this configuration here. So I'm gonna wind up and rotate the motor all the way around till that up comes all the way back up to here, and I'm gonna do that by putting the bike in neutral and rotating it from here with a ratchet. Watch for the right side coming back up to the top, and watch for the right side up to come up to the top. Now I'm over here on the right side. Same thing. Here's the up. I took my Sharpie, outline up on it, something you can identify between all the other marks on it. Also too, right in the middle of here is a cog there. I marked that there, so when you get up there to the top, I know we're somewhere near the top. But the main thing I'm looking for is, see that little mark right there? I want that mark to rotate all the way around till they get to that mark right here. Now the same thing that's on this side is on the left side. So again, this is the mark that you're looking for. It's the only indicator mark that's on this wheel. on the wheel itself, and here's the mark that's right here on that back casing of the timing belt covers. A little notch there, so I've marked a little mark there right in line with it, so when they come around they should line right up together. Alright, now the crank bolt, that is a 19mm socket. Again, like I said, the bike is in neutral. You can kind of see I can rotate it. Now as you get ready to rotate this, you want to do it and take your time with it, because you don't want to go around no more than what you need it to come to the mark. If you miss it, don't try to back up. If you got to go all the way back around again, go ahead and go all the way back around again, but don't try to back it up. Alright, now I'm going to go to the left side of the engine, show you this other mark that you need to take a look at before you get ready to start taking the belt off. I'm going to see if I can see it from here. And I cannot. It's the little timing mark cover that's in here that I want to. There it is. I can see it right in between. There it is, right there. I'm going to take that cover off and do the sight glass on it and make sure that the top dead center markings are lining up. Once I get that all the way to the top, I'm gonna look ahead to see if they line up and correspond it with the timing wheel. Alright, get back with you in a second. Okay, I've got the word up, facing up. I've got my marks. Alright, let's get some light. In line with my mark there. And what I did extra is that when you take the left tensioner loose, that gear is going to want to turn in this direction. So what I did is I marked on the crank inner pulley exactly where the gear is now, and then also to marked on the outside one that goes to that left one. So it'll be this one, that one, and that mark should all line back up. So when I have to turn that wheel back, I'm gonna line that dot up with that cog and that mark right there, and then that should make that come right back online. Alright, now we're at this point where we're ready to take the outside belt off, which is the right side. Now on this tensioner, there are two bolts. This one, which is had a slot in it, which is for adjustment up and down, and then this bolt over here, which is a pivoting bolt for, in other words, for this wheel to slide on that slot. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen up this one first, and then I'm going to gradually loosen this one, because remember when I said that once you loosen that tensioner, this wheel is going to want to turn. So I'm going to do, I don't want it to snatch and turn. I want to do a gradual, easy release of pressure on this wheel here of what goes on inside the engine. Alright, so I'm going to do that, and I'll get back to you. Now watch what I do to keep this gear from snatching around. I went and got me a crescent, a pipe wrench that fits on this part of the wheel here. I've loosened that nut, but what's holding the tension is the belt and the cogs. So I push down on the belt just a little bit, pull it off the tensioner, pull it around, then I can slack that tension right back off, because that's what it wants to do. It wants to snatch around, but I don't want it to do that. Alright, and then after that, you just go ahead and remove your belt. Alright, the belt don't look too bad. I could use it again, but since it's got these scuff marks on it, I'm gonna go ahead and change it anyway while I'm in here. Alright, so on the right side you don't have to worry about that. It's just loosen the tensioner and then just take it off the cranks and the tensioner and the timing pulley. Okay, to add to your confidence, because I guess some say, oh, if the right side jump, the left side gonna jump. I loosen up the pulley. Belt still kind of tight. So the same thing, I'm just gonna slide this off of the tensioner a little bit. And if it was gonna jump, it would have jumped by now. So I can take it off the gear. Then I can take it off the crank pulley here. Alright, so the same thing, there you are. I left the tension springs attached, so all I got to do, that one's got the hole in it. This one where you just take the hook and hook it in there. And the other one is the same way. Alright? So the same thing, we're here, all we got to do now is just put the new timing belts on, and then we're ready to go to the pulley. Stand by. We're getting deep. Now notice after I took both of the belts off, notice that the marking that I got here going to that crank pulley and this one here, it all stayed in place. So it's just the right side pulley that I have to just adjust when I get ready to put the belt on. Now putting the belts on is not hard at all. It's just reverse of what you did. Make sure you got it in every cog. Get it as tight as you can while it's here, because you want your tension here and let the slack adjuster take the rest. So go to the let me turn you a little bit. Go to the nearest cog you can here and just feed it in. And go all the way around. And then go under the tensioner. And then adjust the tension as needed. See that? That's good tension right there. I can almost put that right back and tighten it. I'm gonna take this spring and put it back on. I can't see it. There we go. You pretty much can almost let the spring do the tension on the tensioner itself. I know this doesn't have anything to do with the pull board thing, but this is one of the steps you've got to go through. Tighten this up just the bolt just a little bit. Same thing, I'll pull on the pulley just a little bit more. Give it a little bit of a tap. You got to have an extension, take off an extension. Again, keep a check on your tension. Don't have a torque, but I figure that is good tension on it. And that belt is in the place that it came when it came off. I look by the shiny parts on here. And voila, we're done with the left side. Now I'm going to go over here to the left side, but I'm going to show you that too, So if you want to go by this, you can skip by it if you want. Now we're over here on the right side. Pretty much the same as I did on the left side. Start with the crank pulley, just get it into the cog. Have it off the tensioner. Now I'm going to get my crescent wrench again, and I'm going to pull the timing mark back to where it was before. It went from there to here. I can do it by hand. Let me get it lined up. Then I pull the tension up at the top, tight as I can. I can't do it and film it at the same time because I'm gonna have to go from the bottom. Alright, how I had to figure that out. What it was, I had to go just a touch up above the mark, and as I pushed up on the pulley, the tensioner, with this turned right to the mark, and this turned just a little bit, but the belt is tight up at the top and tight at the bottom. And now the mark is right on point, and the mark over here on the main gear is right on point. So it's just a little tricky. Just got to know how far to go early. By the time it gets down to the point where it's tight, when you push up on the tensioner. So when you push up on the tensioner, it's going to turn this wheel just a little bit, and then that is the tension you'll get here. You can't get any tension up here by pushing just up on the tensioner. You've got to wind up and have some slack here, so as it rotates, the cogs are going to work against each other on the cog, and by the time you find that medium between going from there to here, it'll give you the tension that you want, that you see here. Alright, so now that's over with. Now let's go ahead and get into the real deal. We're going to get into the taking off the bolt, the 19mm bolt for the pulley, and we're going to start this ball rolling. And I hope everybody's still staying with me. I know sometimes it's a little tedious, but hang in there. Take a break, go get a Michelob Light, yeah, and bring me one. Okay, YouTube, this is just an FYI while I'm here. Take note on this spring. Notice it has a distance between here and there. What I'm getting at is to make sure that this spring is turned around so that the gap side here is out toward the front, and the spring arm, the length of it, is toward the wall and not up against near the belt, because it's such a thin gap between there and the belt. So if the belt shifts left and right while it's running, it could make contact with that little bit of a bar on the spring. So make sure you just turn that spring around so that the arm of it is toward the back and that this open area be toward the belt. Do the same thing for the left and the right.